Let everybody know we're here.
I almost changed my review to the Mario RPG remake
Oh,
because that's
yeah?
mostly what I've been playing. I mean, I've played Wild Guns, enough to do
Yeah.
a good review for it, but man, that Mario RPG remake is excellent
Yeah, I'm saving that for really?
for Christmas.
Yeah. What is Why did my post go away?
That's a little better.
Hold on. I got to repost this in Discord for some reason. Oh, that's why. Oh, yeah, there we go. We got to do Bethany's top 5. He put it in the top 5 submissions. We'll do that towards the end.
Okay.
So I'll leave that up. And,
Okay.
all right, got all my tabs open, ready to go.
Yep, I'm all set.
All righty, here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Greetings, programs, and happy Thanksgiving week. My name is Jason Robbins.
And my name is Derek Diamond.
So is everybody ready for ham or turkey or dressing, whatever you eat on Thanksgiving?
I'm ready for that, and I'm ready to just not be at work for a few days. um, I've been saying every week, how busy things have been, so I'm hoping we get to leave a little early on Wednesday. It's not confirmed, but I've got my fingers crossed that we do.
Yeah.
But I've got Thursday and Friday off, which is nice. So it'll be good to just kind of sit at home for, minus visiting family and whatnot. It'll be good to just kind of relax for a bit.
Yeah. And also, I want to let everybody know this week we're going to be doing our commentary track for this month tomorrow night. And I think I'm going to release it for everybody so that everybody gets to enjoy it for Thanksgiving. So patrons usually get it like 2 weeks early, but I'm going to release it for everyone because it is a Thanksgiving themed thing we're going to be doing. So I'll release that tomorrow night for everyone.
It'll be something for people to listen to on the drive to your families for
Yeah.
some turkey.
But also, I want to let everybody know that next week we're going to do something a little different because even though I'm off work most of this week, this is a crazy busy week for me, and I'm not going to have a whole lot of time to review something for next week. So we're going to do something a little bit different next week. We're going to be having a discussion. Instead of a review, we're going to be doing a discussion of what is next for Nintendo. We're going to talk about what we think the next console is going to be like, any kind of, and Wally should enjoy this. We're going to do predictions. So if you want to send us your predictions of what's next for Nintendo, send them to us, nerdcaveretro@gmail.com, or you can do it on the Discord. Just let us know what you think is going to be next for Nintendo, and we'll talk about it next week.
Please, Wally, I'm begging you, send in your predictions for what you think the next console is going to be.
He's
As a
probably
friend, I'm asking you.
he's not going to because he doesn't care about Nintendo.
Maybe since I asked nicely, he will.
Maybe he will. We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, but no, that'll be fun. Like we rarely have just like straight up discussion episodes. I don't think we've done one like that in a long time.
Yeah,
so
it's been a while. If we even have
fun.
done one, I mean, I know we've done some similar stuff to that before, but I don't think we've done just a straight up discussion instead of a review.
We've done a couple of roundtables about specific franchises, but as far as looking to the future, I think this will be a first for us. And next week will be episode 350.
Ooh, I know. We're getting old, man. 350 episodes.
Yeah, I feel it in my knees every morning. So I trust me, I understand. But how has your week been?
It's been good, and it's been busy. Work is crazy this time of the year, and I am ready for my Christmas break because I usually get 2 weeks off for Christmas. I did not take it last year because we've been so busy at work. I've been going 2 years without a break. at work. So I am so looking forward to having some time off.
Yeah, same for us. This is like the busy time. This and Easter are the busiest times of the year for work for me. But in the next couple of weeks, things will start to wind down, and like you, I'll get 2 weeks off as well. So
Yeah, get
it'll
some
be fun.
gaming done, play some stuff, so it'll be nice.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Which I do want to say, even though this isn't what I'm reviewing tonight, I do have to say this, and I've been talking, in the Discord about it. The new Mario RPG remake is outstanding. I
Yeah,
I can barely put it down. It is that good.
I want to play it. That's going to be my Christmas game this year.
It's without going into a full review of it, I will say it's improved the original in almost every way. Not every way, but close to it. And that was already an excellent game by itself.
Hmm.
But it's really really fun. Anybody that might be on the fence about it, if you liked the original Mario RPG, definitely pick it up. It's really really fun.
The only thing is, I don't know if I talked about this, but I got my new controller in, I think earlier this week, and it turns out that it's not my controller. The connections with the Joy Cons are not connecting right with the Switch itself. So if anybody has had that problem, please let me know how to fix it, because I'm still having problems even with a new controller, and I've tried recalibrating everything. I've tried everything, and it's still having trouble. And I'll be playing something, and then none of the buttons work, so I have to kind of squeeze the switch, and then it connects, and then it'll work for a little while, and then it'll do it again, and I got to keep squeezing the switch together. So I don't know what's going on with the controllers. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, that's got to be frustrating.
Yeah, especially when you're trying to play stuff and dying because my damn controllers don't work.
They I don't know if the new console is going to have Joy Cons or not, but if they do, they got to fix a lot of those issues they had, like with the drifting and like with what you're talking about.
Mhm.
They got a little bit of work to do.
Yeah.
We'll say that.
I mean, I can always dock it and just play it on the TV with my Pro controller, but I like handheld mode. I like just sitting and playing. But if I got to play RPG on the TV with it docked, then that's what I'll have to do.
It'll be a good experience that way, either way.
Yeah, either way. But
Yeah,
I think that's it's about time for some news. What do you say?
let's do it.
Some of tonight's stories were submitted to us by Armez Jackson, and if you have a story you'd like us to cover, send them to nerdcaveretro@gmail.com. And this first story comes from, of course, NintendoLife.com, one of our favorite sites. Nintendo Switch has now sold over 132 million units. Nintendo's quarterly financial results have been released, and they show that Switch, in all its iterations, has now crossed the 130 million sales mark. As of the 30th of September, the lifetime number of Nintendo Switch hardware units sold, including the regular model, Switch Lite, and Switch OLED, stands at 132.46 million, up from 129.53 million last quarter. Additionally, the number of overall software sales on Switch now stands at a whopping 1.133 billion units, comfortably ahead of Nintendo DS's measly 948.76 million. That's a lot of money going into Nintendo's pockets.
It is. And it makes me think of, back during the height of the pandemic when everyone was trying to get their hands on a Switch and you couldn't find them
Mm-hmm.
because that was people's primary source of entertainment.
Yeah.
And just to do some comparisons to previous Nintendo consoles, it's still behind the DS, which is at 154.02. Third on the list is the Game Boy with 118.69, followed by the Wii 101.63, and the Game Boy Advance coming in at 5 at 81.51. For some reason, I thought the Wii had passed the Game Boy, but I guess it hasn't. But
That's what I
I mean,
thought
good for
too.
Nintendo. We've been ones that have been, waving the Nintendo flag, and even before the show started, when they were kind of down with the GameCube and the Wii U, I felt like I was in the minority of being that Nintendo supporter, thinking that, they're going to turn it around, and it they've still got a long way to go compared to Sony and Microsoft with some of their features,
Yeah,
but I'm still a Nintendo fan, and I'm happy that the Switch has been doing well.
me too. And just to show you how successful the Switch is, the Switch has sold 132.5 million units. The Wii U sold 13.5, over 120 million more units for the Switch.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking with that Wii U console, but
It was a half step.
it yeah, it was terrible. Like, they really didn't have a major launch game. If I remember right, it released at just some random time. And I think the Wii U needed to happen for the Switch to happen, because the Wii U had the tablet that you could
Mm,
use, in conjunction with whatever game you were playing. But it it sucked. I'll be honest, the Wii U
yeah.
sucked.
Justin Dispel in the chat room says he had to replace the rails on the side of the Switch for his sons, who his broke. So that might be something I might
Ugh.
have to do,
Yeah, maybe so.
because I miss my Switch. I want to play it. Damn it.
All right, so this is a cool story from NintendoWire.com. The Famicom, or Nintendo, celebrates its first party Famicom lineup with new web pages. The Famicom is where many of Nintendo's most iconic franchises got their start. The system, which was eventually localized as the NES, saw the early open exploration of the original Zelda, the smooth scrolling Super Mario Bros., tense atmosphere in Metroid, and much more. This past July saw the original Famicom celebrate its 40th anniversary, and as a result, Nintendo has been sharing lavishly produced websites for all its first party games. I remember us talking about this back
Mm-hmm.
during the summer. Right now, 1983 through 86 are covered, meaning stylish pages for everything from pinball to balloon fight, and even everyone's favorite robotic operating buddy, also known as Rob. Each page is unique and decorated with high quality assets, including transparent image files of some rare or obscure artwork of beloved characters. And there's a high res version of Link that you can download on this article. But have you taken a look at any of the websites? They're really cool.
Yeah, they look really nice. I really like the one for Rob here,
Yeah,
and it just looks cool. Like, this makes me happy to see this. I don't know why. It's just nice to see that Nintendo is giving love to stuff like this.
it reminds me of reading the old manuals
Yeah.
that would come with the games that would have the artwork and some of the instructions. But I grabbed several images, before we started the podcast. Just, I don't know if I'll ever use them for anything, but they're available, so
Yeah.
why not?
These
But
are
this is
cool.
really cool. I can't wait to see when they add, like, Super Mario Brothers 3 and some of the later
Mhm.
Famicom games.
Let's see. Up next, we have another story from NintendoLife.com. Felix the Cat Konami collection surfaces on the ESRB. I like Felix the Cat. I have a Felix the Cat clock on my wall downstairs.
Oh, nice.
His little tail goes back and forth. I love it.
Classic.
The classic cartoon character Felix the Cat is seemingly making a video game comeback, according to a new rating that's popped up on the ESRB. The Felix the Cat game for Switch and multiple other platforms is described as a collection of action platformers where players navigate Felix through various 2D environments as he goes on an adventure to save his girlfriend from an evil professor. It's rated E for everyone, and the collection supposedly came some mild fantasy violence. I always like my fantasy violence mild. Felix the Cat's history on Nintendo platforms extends back to the NES and Game Boy days with Hudson Soft as the developer. I forgot that Felix had a Nintendo game. I might have to go back and review this. I've completely forgot about that.
So I did not have a Felix the Cat story or reference on my bingo card for this week. So shame on me. I had no idea that Felix the Cat had his own game.
I
And
don't.
honestly, I haven't even thought of this character in like 15 or 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, other than my clock, I like Felix the Cat cartoons when I was a kid. I like the clock. I've had the clock for like 15 years now, and I just completely forgot there was an NES game for Felix the Cat. So I'm kind of excited to go track this down and play it.
Yeah, no, and when I read the story earlier, I figured this would be something that would be right up your alley. So yeah, this is cool. Like I said, had no idea there was a Felix the Cat game, but I'm excited to hear about it.
Maybe we'll have a rebirth of Felix the Cat and get a new movie or something.
That's also something that was not on my bingo card or would never be on my bingo card is a Felix the Cat revival. I mean, they've brought Garfield back for the upteenth time, so why not? And well, they had that god awful Tom and Jerry movie from a couple of years ago. I don't know if
Yeah,
you ever saw it, but
I saw it. It was. I wish I hadn't seen it.
yeah, it was, as I like to say, it was real bad.
It was real bad.
Yeah. And our last story comes to us from Screen Rant, a review of the Atari 2600 Plus console, which is the title of this is A Beautifully Crafted Machine. As a summary, the Atari 2600 Plus is a faithful replica of the original console, offering USB power connectors, HDMI output, and multiple screen resolutions for a modern gaming experience. The console is backwards compatible with both Atari 2600 and 7800 cartridges, allowing players to enjoy classic games from the past. While the Atari 2600 Plus provides a fun, nostalgic experience, it does have some flaws, including frequent crashes during gameplay that can be frustrating. However, overall, it is still a positive and enjoyable gaming console for retro gaming enthusiasts. I'm glad that this says that it's a good console, but when I see frequent crashes
Yeah,
during gameplay, that doesn't make me want to buy it.
yeah. And another thing too, I've been hearing some rumors about this that it's not quite 100% backwards compatible. Only certain games are backwards compatible, and I don't know if it's official Atari games that are backwards compatible, but I don't know exactly what it is, but there are certain games that cannot be played on this thing. Only certain games are backwards compatible, which at the same time, there's only what, like 10 or 15 good games for the Atari 2600. I'm sorry, Atari 2600 enthusiast. I had one. I had loved it as a kid, but man, those games are just so hard to go back to and play. But I would love to actually have this. But yeah, that frequent crashing, like, what is that about? Are they gonna be able to do an update? Is it able to be updated? Can it connect to the internet? Like, what's going on with that?
And it says here it offers USB power connectors, so maybe they'll do an update where you'll be able to just plug your console into a computer and
Ah,
download the update onto it.
I don't
I don't
know.
know. Don't get me wrong, like I don't want to bash this thing because I think it is cool for the enthusiast, but I never played Atari. You know, this was before my time. I'm personally not going to pick one up. Maybe down the line, if I were to have like a collection of consoles, it might be cool as like a display item, but I'm probably not ever going to play it,
Yeah,
if I'm being honest.
I mean, I still want to get the Atari. Was it the 50th anniversary collection they put out last year? I think it was. I still want to get that and play it because I want to play modern versions of those Atari 2600 games. I don't want to play the original Atari 2600. Like, let's just face it, that controller sucked. Those games were terrible. The sound was like it felt like your eardrums were boiling when that thing would start screeching sounds at you. It just was not a great experience.
It's one of those things. It's like a movie that you loved growing up, but then you go back and watch it and it's not great.
Yeah.
It's fun to mention for the nostalgia, but once you really start to dissect it, you're like, yeah, really wasn't that great.
Yeah, it's fun for about 5 minutes, and then you're like, ah, I'm done. I'd rather play updated versions of these games or the original arcade versions of the games. Because look, the original arcade Pac-Man, still one of the greatest video games ever made. The Atari 2600 version of Batman is a hot steaming pile of dog crap.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you. I would get the 50th anniversary collection, but I'm not gonna pick this console up. It is available. It was released on the 17th. If anyone is an Atari enthusiast and you want to get it, but yeah, I'm gonna pass on that one
Yeah,
personally.
if you have somebody in your life that's, an Atari 2600 fan, it's only what did it say? It costs 129.99, which isn't that terrible. For I think you get the console, you get one controller, and you also get a set of paddles, which was much like the original 2600. So, if you got somebody in your life that loves old stuff like that, it'd be a really cool set piece, near the TV. I mean, it has the wood grain finish and everything on it, so it's cool looking. But
Hmm.
I don't know if I would drop $130 just to play some old games that I'm not really going to play for more than like 5 minutes.
I'll just get the 50th anniversary collection.
But I will say, like we said, was it last week or week before? I think Atari's making some really good moves lately with some of the acquisitions they've made as far as some developers putting out this console. They actually are. I think they're making a little bit of a comeback. I would look to see Atari as actually making games again within the next year or two. You're going to see that Atari logo pop up when you throw a game in the console.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Like I'm not knocking what they could do in the future, because I think it's exciting that they're getting back into potentially making games or at least getting their name out there.
Yeah.
So I am excited to see what they do, coming up here in 2024.
It's going to be interesting to see. Maybe we should do an
Yeah.
episode on what's next for Atari.
Be our new monthly series, What's Next?
Yeah, what's next? Before we go into this month in video game history, I do want to tell you guys about our new mobile game partner, Globe Glider. If you like action adventure platformers, and we know you do, Globe Glider is for you. Make a donation to the game using our partnership is quick and easy. Just simply hit the donate button and select Nerd Cave Retro as your referral partner to unlock sweet in-game prizes like an exclusive Nerd Cave Retro cape. So download Globe Glider right now on the App Store or Google Play. And I must say, it's a nice little time waster. It's a good toilet game to have if you if you want to say that type of thing, because it's like nice little short bursts of gaming.
Yeah, and I mean there's definitely a market for that. Like not everything has to be this huge like massive RPG or an epic. Like you can have games that are only meant to be played in short increments.
Yeah, so if you like overhead shooters like 1941 and stuff like that, go pick it up. It's free on the downloads from your whatever store you use, the App Store or Google Play. But like I said, if you want to just give a donation in our name, you will get a cool Nerd Cave Retro cape in the game. So go get your cape.
Yeah.
But now it is time for this month in video game history. In November of 1980, Universal releases State Panic, Space Panic,
Spice.
Spice Panic. The first game with platforms and ladders. The term platform game was still several years in the future. I remember us talking about Space Panic before.
Yeah, really
Man,
cool poster.
that is
And
so 80s.
high resolution video cartridge for ColecoVision.
Yeah. Man, this thing looks like if you were to just glance at the screenshots here, you'd swear you were looking at Donkey Kong.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Or maybe look wise, something like a Burger Time
Yeah, it's
would
like
be
a
kind of up
mix.
there too.
Yeah, it's like a mix between Burger Time and Donkey Kong. Like that same color scheme as Donkey Kong.
Now you want to talk about great arcade games.
Yeah.
Burger Time's up there.
I still am not I love playing Burger Time, but I'm not good at that game at all.
You just made one of the points I'm going to make in my review tonight.
Yeah, I played it not too long ago. We go to this burger place in New Orleans called oh crap, now I can't think of the name of it. It's
Is it
like
Burger
Bob.
Time?
No, it's like Bob's Burgers or something like that. But it you go in there and they have a Burger Time machine in there, and every time we go there, I plop a few quarters in there and play Burger Time.
I feel like that's requirement for like local burger chains to have a Burger Time arcade cabinet.
Yeah, and I'm still convinced that every pizzeria in America has a Miss Pac-Man machine.
See, that would make a great reality show. Travel the country to every pizzeria to find
Hmm.
if they have a Miss Pac-Man or not.
I thought about doing an Instagram account for Miss Pac-Man of America and go to all the pizzerias I can find that have Miss Pac-Man machines and take a picture.
That's a great idea. I'd follow it.
And Justin says, the chat says, I think all new game systems should offer a wood grain finish. I'm ready for wood grain to come back. Like I'm tired of this cold, white, too clean looking stuff. I'm ready for shag carpets and wood paneling again.
Maybe not the shag carpet, but
Yeah.
we'll go with the wood grain. November of 1981, Namco releases Bosconian, a multi-directional shooter with voice. I almost read that as Bostonian,
Yeah.
like the city of Boston.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever talked about this before. I really like the artwork for the poster though.
Yeah, I love the 80s style of posters, whether it's for games or movies. Best decade of designs, in my opinion,
Oh,
or at least ones
absolutely.
that I have the most nostalgia for.
Let's see. November of 1990. Oh, wait. Yeah, November of 1992, Konami releases a console port of Prince of Persia for the Super NES. That's the only one I've ever played. Was that one? I rented it one time.
We've talked about this recently, but I
Hmm.
still cannot believe that Prince of Persia is that old.
I know. I thought that
I
was a
thought it was
'90s
like the
game.
PlayStation era.
Yeah. If you would have asked me when we found that out that it was from like 1986 or something, if you would have asked me when Prince of Persia first came out, I would have said 92, 93, somewhere around there.
See, I would have said even later. I would have said like 97, 98.
Well, the only reason I would have thought 92, 93 is because I remember renting it for the Super
Right.
Nintendo.
And see, I don't remember that for the Super Nintendo. So I only remember like the more modern versions.
Yeah.
November 21st of 1992, Sega publishes Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for the Mega Drive / Genesis. The game, of course, introduced Sonic's sidekick Miles Tails Prower and Sonic's supersonic transformation.
Hmm.
Still the best Sonic game ever made, and I don't think it will ever be topped.
I'm there with you.
Personally,
November 28th of 1998, Nintendo releases The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time for the N64.
can't believe that game is that old either.
I know.
I remember getting this for Christmas as a teaser to our Christmas episode. I remember getting this on Christmas morning, and that was pretty much all I did the entire day was play Ocarina of Time.
So
The the
in
hype
eight,
for this game was awesome.
in 8 days, it will be exactly 25 years old. It's crazy.
Be like a college graduate. And November 17th of 2003, God, I can't believe this game is 20 years old. Alpha Dream and Nintendo release Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga for the Game Boy Advance in North America, which those of you who have a Switch, It is on the Game
Hmm.
Boy Advance online shop, and it is to me one of the most underrated Mario games of all time. Like it's pretty much the spiritual successor to Super Mario RPG, but it's got great dynamic, great writing. It's got a good story. It has really good sequels too. And it's one of the few games I feel like that have Mario and Luigi depending on each other
Yeah.
because you play as both of them, but they have like combo moves and things they learn where you have to use those certain abilities to progress in the game. So it's really good, and it's one that I'll probably review it sometime, maybe early next year.
Yeah, I started up a game of that a couple of weeks ago and thinking it was just kind of another side scroller, a Mario side scroller, and it started, and then I was like, this seems like it's going to be a time commitment, so I'm going to put this one on the back burner for now.
It is a commitment, but it is worth it.
Yeah, it looked like it. I mean, I really dug the art style of it and everything, but I was like, yeah, this seems like it's going to be a lengthy RPG, so I'm going to have to wait on this one.
Yeah, but it'll be there whenever you're ready to play it.
Yeah. And before we go into the review for tonight, Derek, do you want to do our Patreon shout outs?
Absolutely. Of course, we want to shout out our awesome patrons over at patreon.com/nerdcaveretro. We want to shout out Yup Fed, aka Knife, James, aka at Jimbo Jr. on Discord, Travis Martin, Raven, Danny House, Justin Nispel, John West, Daniel Salmon, Mr. B. Res Coffee himself, Mike Eveland, Tyler Watson, Axblade07, Armiz Jackson, Carlos Longoria, aka I am the
Rampage.
Rampage, Staff Sergeant Sketch, Gus and Penny, Matthew Salmon, Joey Image, and of course, Mama Diamond herself, Donna
Mama
Diamond.
Diamond.
As always, yeah, thank you for everyone for supporting the show, keeping the lights on for us here at the Nerd Cave Retro podcast. For as little, I say this every week, but it doesn't make it any less true. For as little as $1 a month, that's like half the price of gas station coffee these days. You get early access to our commentary tracks. I know you mentioned that, this month we're going to be releasing the commentary track for everyone because it is holiday themed, but usually you get it 2 to 3 weeks before the general public does. And it's usually a commentary track on an animated series like Real Ghostbusters, Gargoyles, Darkwing Duck, Tailspin. We've also done full-length movies like Transformers the movie, Batman 89, Christmas Vacation, Clue. The list is near endless on what we've done. And if you want to be a part of our awesome Patreon community, head over to patreon.com/nerdcaveretro. And for new patrons, be sure to send us your social media info, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, so we can give you a proper shout out.
And tonight, Derek is going to be talking about
The only
Jaunty.
thing missing is a cowboy hat,
Yeah, no.
which I if I owned one, I would have put it on, but I do not own a cowboy
See,
hat.
if I'd have thought about it, we should have went and got some cowboy hats from like the thrift store and wore it for the review tonight.
That would have been great. So I'm going to be reviewing a game that I have known about for quite some time, but have never really sat down and played until recently, and am excited to talk about. And that would be Wild Guns, a 1994 space western shooting gallery video game developed by Natsume for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Uh, so I vaguely remember hearing about this game growing up. I can't remember if it was in Nintendo Power or if it might have been in another magazine. I never played it, but I always knew of it, and I didn't know anybody that played it, so
I
I
didn't
couldn't really
either.
get like that that firsthand experience of being like, oh, you got to play Wild Guns. This one of the best
Yeah.
Super Nintendo games ever.
I didn't know anybody that played. I never really heard of this game until recently. And then once I heard about this game, it was just kind of like one after the other of hearing people talk about how much they love this game and how good it is. I'm like, I never even heard of it before. And it is on the Switch online, isn't it?
Yep, that's how I've been playing it.
Oh, okay.
So, what reintroduced me to this game, and it was like that you have those memory unlock moments where you
Yeah.
like see something and you're like, oh, I forgot this thing even existed.
Mm-hmm.
So this was a while back at one of the retro gaming stores we have here in town. They have like the what I call the free roaming cartridges where they're just sitting on a shelf and you
Yeah.
can pick it up and they might be like $5 or something like that. And then they have the ones in the display case that are a little bit more than that. Well, Wild Guns was one of them.
Hmm.
And I remember it being like $200 for
Jeez.
I know. But get so I did some digging on eBay. Guess how much a complete inbox Wild
Oh,
Guns is?
I'm looking it up right now. Let's see.
I'm just gonna wait to see your reaction.
Wow. Holy crap. Oh wow! They have one buy it now for $1,499.
Okay, so that was more than what I'd saw earlier. The one I saw was 500,
Really?
which is still insane.
Well, just a loose cart goes for 275. Buy it now. Let's see. There's a complete inbox for buy it now for $3,699. This is insane.
And the thing is, like, I know this game is popular, but not even Earthbound is that much. Like, I would love for someone to explain to me why this game is worth that
I
much.
don't know, especially for a game that I had no memory of. I mean,
I know.
there's one here for $519.95. Buy it now or best offer, and it's trashed. Like it's got stickers all over it. The label is scratched and half off of it. Like what? Why is this game so expensive?
I have no idea. That being said, I do like the game though. So the setting of it is really cool. It's kind of like a Western meets space or a steampunk type of vibe, which I had no idea going into the game. Like I assumed it was just like a Western. So I'm
Yeah, I
like,
was gonna
well, okay,
say
that's
you had me
that's
at
kind of
when
cool.
you had me at space western. Like I'm down for
Yeah.
space western stuff.
Yeah, and some of the bosses you fight throughout the game are like, robots that look like almost like a modern steampunk type of vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's this giant robot you fight at the end of one of the levels, and I'm like, well, this looks like something you'd see today, which I thought was really cool, and I dig the genre mashup. Like there are a lot of times that it doesn't work with games or movies,
Mm-hmm.
but I felt like this did. It as soon as I read that it was that, I'm like, okay, you've got me hooked. So you can play as two different characters. You can play as okay, so you can play as Clint, who is a bounty hunter, or you can play as Annie, who is really the primary protagonist because the story is about her seeking revenge on um, the Kid family for abducting and killing her family. So she hires this bounty hunter to help her track them down. So you can play as either one of them. And I thought it was really cool that they included a female protagonist because in this day and age, like you had Samus, I don't know if Lara Croft was around at that point, but there weren't really like any strong female characters in video games from what I can remember
Mm-hmm.
during that time. So I thought the option was really cool. But it plays just like an arcade game. It's like your characters in the foreground and everything from your enemies to your bosses to items you want to pick up are all in the background, and you have to, like, say if you kill an enemy and they drop a bag of gold, you have to shoot it in order to collect it. So it immediately felt like an arcade game. Like I felt like it should have,
Mm.
you know how you had like Turok and those other games that had like the
Yeah.
physical gun that you could
Yeah.
hold. I felt like this needed that. Like
Yeah,
I felt like I should be standing in an arcade cabinet holding a rifle.
I was gonna say the Super Nintendo didn't really have any light gun accessories other than that. It looked like a bazooka. Remember that
Yep.
thing, the Super Scope?
Mm-hmm.
Was that
Yep.
really
The
the
Super
only one
Scope.
that it
Yep.
had?
Yep. I never had one of those, but I do remember it.
Because I would think for a game like this, you'd want to have a light gun that's like looks like a pistol, like a 6 shooter.
See, that would have been cool to have something like that. It would make a cool display item, like because you had the, of course, the zap gun from the NES, but the Super Nintendo didn't really have a ton of
Yeah.
external peripherals. Like they had the Super Scope, you had the mouse for Mario Paint,
And you would think that
if
it
you
it
want to
would
count
have
that.
because I mean you could do almost 1-to-1 arcade ports to the Super Nintendo, like T2. T2 should have had a light gun peripheral for it. There's so many games that were in the arcade that were shooters like that that would have been perfect to go to the Super Nintendo if they would have had some sort of light gun accessory.
Oh, could you imagine playing T2 with like a shotgun
Oh,
peripheral and
that would have been
it makes
awesome.
that the I can still hear that sound like clear as
Oh
day.
yeah.
Thinking now. But yeah, we could do a whole podcast on Terminator. Well, we have done a whole podcast on
Hmm.
Terminator 2.
We've done
So
several.
anyway, so yeah, right. So you could choose your character, which I like I said I think is really cool that you have a female protagonist that you can actually play as, because you
Yeah.
had your damsel in distresses like your Peach, your Zelda. So that this was really cool. And the gameplay is really simple. You shoot your enemies, and that's really about it. You do get the addition of having a bomb, which will basically like wipe the entire screen of enemies, or at
Mm.
least severely damage them. Because sometimes you get like these robots that shoot missiles, and they're almost shaped kind of like hexagons, and they take some pretty serious firepower to wipe out. So if you have a bomb, that's what you use it for.
That's cool.
But even this is kind of where I was alluding to earlier of like I like these type of games, but I am terrible at these types of games. It took me forever just to get past the first stage. Like because I just get overwhelmed
Hmm.
by all the enemies that are shooting at you. Your HP isn't very high, so you've got to do a lot of dodging. It's not very easy to dodge in this game, but I still had fun with it.
Yeah.
Like there are some people that if they suck at a game, they just immediately stop. They're like, "Oh, I'm not good at this, so I'm just
Yeah.
gonna stop." Like I like these type of games. I didn't get to play that many of them because I didn't grow up around an arcade. So this was like a making up for lost time as a child kind of thing.
Yeah. And I'm still just not big on playing shooters with this type of shooter with a controller where it looks to me like, and tell me if I'm wrong, but you use the D-pad to move the reticle around the. Yeah, that's just not. I don't like that. I'm not good at that type of stuff. I'd rather have either the peripheral of a gun or give me like a first person shooter type of thing.
Right. And that's kind of where I kept going in the back of my mind as I kept playing the game. Because once you figure it out, it's not as difficult, but it's still difficult. Like I
Hmm.
put in my notes, it really toes the line between that, competitive difficulty and the frustrating difficulty.
Yeah.
Because there were a couple of times that I just stopped playing because I was just getting fed up with it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I've committed to playing it, so I'm gonna do it. And I didn't complete the game, but I did have a lot of fun and like I like the world that it established. I don't know if you remember that movie. What was it? The one with Harrison Ford, Cowboys and Aliens.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like that, but better.
Hmm. It seems
But
like we would have had a better movie if they would have based it off of this
yeah,
instead.
yeah. There is a remastered version of this game. I think it's called Wild Guns Reloaded.
Yeah, I was seeing that. It's actually for they have PS4 and Switch. I don't think it's they have it for the Xbox, but definitely the PS4 and the Switch.
Yeah, it came out and for the Switch in 2018, and it was on Windows as well in
Okay.
July 2017. It was released then. Um, I didn't know it was that old. I thought it was more recent that
Yeah,
they redid this game.
and Chuck in the chat room says there's only been one sale. And yeah, I looked back through the completed sales on eBay. I'm not seeing any completed sales for the Super Nintendo version because yeah, that's a lot of money to pay for this game. I mean, $3,500 a lot of money to drop on a Super Nintendo game. That's crazy.
I could make a down payment on a car.
Dude, I could pay off some bills with $3,500.
Yeah, but I would say if you like shooters, I would definitely recommend trying it. Just be prepared that it's not going to be easy. Like
I'll,
I played part of it on easy mode. I'm not ashamed in saying that, and it was still a
hey,
challenge.
there's nothing wrong with easy mode. Some of us
That
just like to
that's
finish the game.
but that should tell you how difficult this game can be.
Yeah. Well, it's a
I,
Super
I
Nintendo game. I mean, you know, Nintendo. There's a reason why it's called Nintendo Hard.
yep. And what's cool is that you do get upgrades as you play the game. Like after you kill a certain amount of enemies, you get like a machine gun instead of a shotgun, which is more powerful. You also get I can't remember if you can do this when you play as Annie, but I know as Clint, you get this lasso that will stun enemies for like a good 3 to 4 seconds. But with the style of gameplay, I found it to be more of a hindrance than
Yeah.
anything because like you'll use the lasso, but when you freeze one enemy, you've got like four or five other ones
Yeah.
that are shooting at you. So it's like, yeah, you got to toss it and then immediately move. So that I don't want to bash the game because I do like it, but I don't see why it's as popular as it is.
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe
Maybe.
it's just because this isn't my thing, but I even went on Reddit today and people were like, "Oh, that was my favorite Super Nintendo game. One of the best Super Nintendo
Hmm,
games of all time."
it's crazy because
Yeah, I get it. Like I'm sure I like Earthbound more so than others. I like Illusion of Gaia more so than others, but
well, I mean,
I just don't see it.
plus two. This came out late in the Super Nintendo life cycle. You know, it came out what 94, late 94. Well, North America it came out in 95. So you're talking about the tail end of the Super Nintendo. So they probably didn't make, but you know, maybe 50,000 copies of this game probably. So that's probably why they're so expensive. But also, you know, there were some great games that were made, you know, in those last couple of years of the Super Nintendo that were great games. You know, and that's probably a lot of people that played these games are just crazy about it. But you know, I was on to computer gaming at this time, so that's probably why I missed it.
I am curious to try the reloaded version to see if it might be a little more manageable because like I do like a lot about this game. I like the look of it. I like the universe that it takes place in. I wouldn't call the soundtrack like outstanding, but I found myself, kind of bobbing my head a little bit to some of the music as it was going on. So it's catchy enough.
Yeah,
And if you look in the article, you'll see the boss that I'm talking about, the giant steampunk robot.
yeah, I see that. That's really good graphics.
I know, like it's a great looking Super Nintendo game. So I will give it that. And as far as the reception of it goes, Contemporary reviews of the game were positive. Famitsu gave it a score of 26 out of 40. Reviewers at EGM cited the co-op multiplayer mode and challenging levels as the game's strongest points. I will say this, I think it would be easier with two people.
Yeah.
I feel like this would be a game that would be really fun if you had a player two and you tackled it together, like an arcade game. Like if you're playing Ninja Turtles in the arcade, you want to have three other people.
Yeah, and it says a 32X version was reportedly planned for 1996, but never materialized.
Yeah, I mean, so did most things for
Yeah.
for the 32X.
Yeah.
Yeah. But as far as some of the scores, EGM gave it an 8 out of 10. Famitsu, as I said, 26 out of 40. GameSpot gave the PS4 reboot an 8 out of 10. IGN gave the Super Nintendo version an 8 out of 10. Nintendo Life a 9 out of 10.
Hmm.
So like it's well received. It's highly regarded. Everywhere I looked online, people say they love it.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say that I'm glad I played it. Will I go back and play it again? Probably not, unless it's the remake, just so I can compare the two. But if you're a fan of these types of shooters, because games like this aren't made anymore. Like this truly is a product of its time. You know, when you think of arcades, you think of the 80s and into the 90s and games like that. Oh, Chuck says, hey, my 32X still works.
So what
So
if
what
I
if he
only
only
have
has
three games
three
for
games
it?
for it? Hey, one day I do want to review the Knuckles game for 32X.
Yeah, I know there was I think a Rogue Squadron game or an X-Wing game. There was a Star Wars game that was X-Wing related for the 32X. I'd like to go back and play.
Let's see. Star Wars 32X. Star Wars Arcade.
Oh yeah. The arcade version of that. Yeah, I want to play that.
God, I wonder how much that goes for.
Oh God, I don't even want to look that up.
$130, brand new.
That's not bad. They're better than 3,500 that they want for this game.
It's got to be because they didn't make as many cartridges.
It's
as to why
gotta
it's
be
so expensive.
Probably,
like that.
It's got to be super rare to come across one.
So here's my final thoughts on the game. Despite the fact that it's crazy hard, I had a lot of fun playing it, and I'd give it probably a 6.5. You know, like it's not my thing, but I still enjoyed it. I'm glad I finally got to play it. I still don't understand why it's so popular, but we talk about it.
Yeah.
We didn't grow up with it.
Yeah.
There'll probably be some people who would be like, Earthbound's the dumbest game I've ever played in my life. And I would fight them for it.
Yeah.
So I get it. But I'm not on that side of the spectrum with Wild Guns.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, it's hard to do these type of shooter games on just a console without an actual peripheral. I think if it had a peripheral with, you know, a gun peripheral, I would probably dive in, but I just don't really have any desire to play a game where I gotta control the reticle with the D-pad. That just seems so unwieldy to me.
Yeah. Oh, Chuck says he has the X-Wing 32X game. That's cool.
Coming over to your house to play it.
But yeah, that's my thoughts on Wild Guns.
Awesome. And like I said, don't forget next week we're not doing regular episode. But actually, before I tell everybody again about that, let me go over here. We said last week our community manager Bethany Fox didn't get his top 5 most replayable game list, but he got it in the other day, and he said I really had to think about this, but number 5 Warframe, number 4 Risk of Rain. I think somebody else said that one too. 3 Enter the Gungeon. Never heard of that one. 2 Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Good pick. And 1 Darius Twin. Wow, we got a side-scrolling shooter up there on somebody's list. That's cool.
I like those choices. They're unconventional, but I like it.
Yeah. So, like I said, next week we're going to be doing a discussion of what is the future of Nintendo. So, if you have some any kind of predictions or anything, what you think is going to be next for Nintendo, just send them to nerdcaveretro@gmail.com and we'll read them on the show. And especially you, Wally, because I know you're going to yell at me for whatever predictions I have, and he's not going to be happy with whatever I say.
Wally, please send in your predictions. I never ask anything of you, but I am now.
Except to do commentary tracks. But other than that,
yeah.
Yes, out there, just send us your predictions or whatever you think the future of Nintendo is, because I'm excited for the next console. And I have a feeling we're going to hear about it pretty early next year. And I think there's going to be a Christmas 2025 or 2024 release of the new console. That's my first prediction.
Little tease for next week.
And yes, Joey, you can if you want to put your prediction on Discord, you can do it there too. Just put them. Anybody on the Discord, put your predictions in the top 5 tab we have. That'll be so that way we can have it all in one place, and I can just read them from there. Also, too, before we go, B-Res Coffee Company is running some Black Friday deals, and and they got some new flavors too. I know they see announcements. Here we go. Let's see. Flavor announcement. They have a new flavor. Wait, no, hold on. Where is the new flavors at? I just had it, and now I've lost it. Let's see. Hold on. I know it's here somewhere. Let's see. They're starting the Black Friday sales on Thanksgiving. There will be significantly more than 10% off. So don't worry about using our code and whatever our code is NCR for 10% off, because the Black Friday deals are going to be more than that. So just go get you some coffee, and if you don't make the Black Friday deal, then you can use our code NCR for 10% off. And
Joey asked broccoli flavored coffee.
No, not broccoli flavored. Let's see. Here we go. They have That's Not Pudding, and it's a custard, caramel, and vanilla flavor.
That's the one with the Grinch on it.
Yes, got the and they have another one. I don't know if this is real, but it says "Don't drink the yellow snow" with a snowman, and I don't know if that's a flavor or not. But they do have the Nebula, which is a French vanilla. Queen's Bread is a banana bread flavored, and Sweet Fiesta is a churro flavored coffee. So go get you some of that for Black Friday, everybody. That sounds delicious.
One of these days, I'm going to get a Derek Diamond Experience brand of coffee, and it's going to taste like saltines.
Oh, that's gross. I don't know. They might have some tea. Joey, go check on there and see. I think they do have some tea flavors on there. I'm not sure. You'll have to go check.
They could do a spinoff company, B-Res Tea.
Yeah, B-Res Tea Company. I like it. Maybe I should start B-Res Tea Company, and we could be competing against one another.
That would be awesome.
Mike's going to kill me for saying that. But let's go ahead and step out the door. And Derek, what's going on with Derek Diamond Experience? I know you got some archives coming out for the rest of the year.
So funny you say that. I landed a pretty notable interview tomorrow. So it's like the podcasting gods won't let me quit.
It do be like Godfather. That sometimes.
Just when I think I'm out, they pull me back in.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say who it is because I don't want to jinx it, but I'll say they played a notable role in one of the CW DC shows.
Ooh, all right.
So we're supposed to do the interview tomorrow. So if it happens, I will reveal who it is, but that'll be out next Monday. But yeah, other than that, I'm re-releasing episodes of Feature Presentation. Just kind of kicking back a little bit, trying to enjoy the holidays. So yeah, you can still go to linktree.com/DDiamondPodcast to subscribe to the YouTube channel, podcast, all that fun stuff.
And go check out the Open Micers podcast. The last episode we had Tyler Arsenault, Get up and coming, rising very fast, hilarious comedian Tyler Arsenault out of Louisiana, and also Josh Watts was on the show this last week. So if you want to go hear about his time out at Skank Fest in Vegas and accidentally kicking a homeless man's turtle, and also the MAGA lice lady. We have a story about the MAGA lice lady. So go check that out at Open Micers on Twitter and Instagram. So Derek, did you hear this story about the kicking the poor turtle yet?
I have not yet, but I'm intrigued now. I'm also intrigued about the MAGA lights lady.
Yeah, the MAGA lice lady is something else. I begged to get her information so we can get her on the show because that just sounds fascinating.
Oh, that'd be incredible.
But
Joey, your guesses are incorrect, unfortunately. If it was Ralph Macchio, I wouldn't hold that one back. I'd be like, yeah, that's who I'm interviewing.
Oh, if Derek was interviewing Ted Danson, his head would explode.
Yeah, like I wouldn't be here. I'd be dead.
Well, that's what we said. Joey says kicking turtles. I thought only Mario did that. That was the first thing we said was, did he get an extra life for it? Like, what happened? So you got to go listen to the story.
Or at least a fire flower or something.
Yes, something. So go hear that story at Open Micers Twitter and Instagram. But Derek, is that everything for this week?
I think so.
Let's get out of here, and happy Thanksgiving, everybody. And if you want to email us at nerdcaveretro@gmail.com. And Nerd Cave Retro is our brand new updated link tree that takes you everywhere you want to go as far as social media. It'll take you to our Patreon and, of course, our merch shop where you can get t-shirts, hats, stickers, magnets, bags, mugs, whatever your nerdy little heart desires. And also, there's a PayPal on there and a Cash App. So if you don't want to be a patron, but you'd like to just give us a little bit of scratch, that's 2 ways to do it right there. And if you want to leave us a review, if you don't want to give us any money, that's fine, but tell people about us. Go leave us a review and or a 5-star rating on all podcasting platforms. And I think that's going to do it for this week. So Derek, please tell them what it's all about.
May the way of the hero lead to the Triforce.
Yes.
Wise man say forgiveness is divine, but never pay full price for late pizza.
And that's an episode.
Fun stuff.
Yeah. Oh, man. This
Taco
is gonna
Bell
be...
cinnamon twist. I would actually drink that cinnamon twist flavored coffee.
Yeah, it does sound good. But I was thinking...
I loved those things as a kid.
You don't want to have tacos and cinnamon twists at the same time as a flavor of coffee. That doesn't sound too appetizing.
No.
Taco
Bell actually does sound kind of good.
Yeah, it does, kind of. But thank you guys for hanging out with us. Happy Thanksgiving, you guys. And
happy Thanksgiving.
Go check out the commentary track we're going to drop tomorrow night. Don't forget about that. And it's going to be short and sweet, but it's something we've been wanting to do, and it's Thanksgiving related. So you'll find out what it is tomorrow night. So thank